Ladies and gentlemen, China seems to be on the brink of collapse as the COVID outbreak seems to be getting even worse. Now, 5,000 deaths are being recorded on a daily basis. Morgues and hospitals are overburdened, and videos are surfacing every single day showing the crumbling state of the medical infrastructure. Due to the dire situation, there's a limited supply of medication and a steep rise in prices. This is forcing millions of Chinese to turn to the black market for Indian drugs, with appeals being made on social media platforms as well. Now, topics like anti-COVID generic drugs have been trending on Chinese social media platform Weibo, with users exchanging messages on how to get hold of these medicines. And yet, China officially denies any such resurgence of the pandemic. The proof is for everyone to see, as Xi Jinping's COVID-0 policy has completely collapsed, but has the Chinese regime's signature information blackout gone for a toss as well?
This is the result of Xi Jinping's decision to lift China's zero-COVID policy. Bodies are piling up in mortuaries as the country battles one of its worst phases of the pandemic. Experts are predicting that the death toll will reach 1 million. As the situation gets more dire, Chinese are combing through the black market to hunt for Indian drugs. China approved 2 COVID-19 antivirals this year, but their limited supply and steep prices have driven many Chinese to look for cheaper but illegal options. So 4 kinds of generic anti-COVID drugs from India are being sold illegally in the Chinese market.
Government of India has got its own supplies in order, number one. It's China which is facing deficiency of drugs. So basically the local government always has to come out with the deficit of drugs from the system's perspective, and they need to talk to the respective governments. And in this case, Indian government, that we want to have these drugs.
Meanwhile, a US intelligence report claims that China revealed its biological weapons ambition quite a while before the pandemic ravaged the world. The declassified report claims that in 2005, the US State Department publicly stated that China operates an offensive biological weapons program. 2 Chinese entities were specifically identified as likely involved, one of which is the Fifth Institute. The report said that in 2006, China acknowledged that the Fifth Institute specifically researches SARS coronaviruses. But China continues to play hide and seek. From not revealing the truth about the origin of the virus, to concealing the real number of cases and deaths, and hastily lifting restrictions which have triggered the biggest outbreak the world has ever seen. It's been one misstep after another. So who will hold Xi Jinping accountable?
And breaking news coming in, as China fails to curb air travel given the rise in COVID cases, Italy has now decided to screen all China arrivals for COVID. So that's the move that's coming in from other countries. I'm joined by Abhishek Jha on the phone line, who's getting us this piece of breaking news. So Abhishek, Italy has taken this step. Are more countries likely to join in?
Of course, and in Italy, the measure is essentially to ensure that the surveillance and identification of any variant of the virus, which we believe that in China, so far it has been said that Omicron is the most dominant and prominent virus in China. That should be detected very first. Lombardy, the first region in Italy which had first imposed the lockdown in way back in 2020, has found almost 50% of people coming from China being tested positive. So that is quite an alarm bell that has run across Italy, and countrywide. Every airport is started testing people coming from China. And not only Italy, now it is being learned that USA health officials are also mulling this idea of screening people who are arriving from China, because we know that China has not only lifted its any restriction from inbound tourists who are coming in China from 8th of January. It is also gradually opening up for Chinese tourists to go abroad, because before Corona, Chinese tourists used to be one of the highest, community who would travel across the world. So if now China also allows outbound tourists to go across the world and roam around, and a number of COVID infected people in China is so high, it is a very well expected or anticipated threat that this virus that is raging in China currently will also spread across the globe, and it can actually jeopardize all the normalcy or the situation that we are currently living in, and it can actually drag us back to 3 years ago when we were feeling the brunt of this COVID pandemic across the world.
Absolutely. Thank you, Abhishek, for getting us that piece of breaking news. Let's get to our guest.